All right, guys. It's Friday night. Where else would you rather be than joining the Dan Show and talking football? Give me 30 seconds. Yes! Yes! Oh, man. Oh, God, it's Friday night. I get to talk football. What more can I ask for? Funk, man. Oh, man, dude, I'm super jacked up, man. How are you doing, Funk, man? How are you doing, brother? I got a little behind today, so normally one of the first and main things I do is I go over my chat and I go over my YouTube channel and I answer all the questions on my videos. I didn't have a chance to do that. So if you dropped a comment in my Seattle Seahawks video, then I have not had a chance to get to it yet. I haven't had a chance to get to it yet. For those of you who don't know, I went ahead and did previews this week for Carolina, Chicago, Atlanta, Denver, and Seattle. Next week, I'm actually really looking forward to next week because we're getting in some teams that are, let's just say, more likely to make the playoffs. Washington, Minnesota. It's going to be Houston. That's not right. I'm sorry. Cleveland. So Washington, Minnesota, Cleveland, Baltimore, and in Miami. So yeah. So some really good ones. I'm kind of looking forward to doing Miami. I'll be honest, like that's a team I'm really gonna have to dive into. I have an energy drink. I have coffee. So I'm going to be really, really, really jacked up. Keys. Okay. If you didn't have a chance to check it out, Keys and the Back Talk Brothers have a show on Thursday or Friday morning. Thursday at midnight is the way I like it. And they had me as a guest. I had a great time. It was a lot of fun. They told me I can come back. So that is, they told me I could come back, and I shared with them off the camera something I'm going to share with you guys now. And this is, by the way, this is just in the works. Like in the works in my head. It's not a guarantee yet. I think I'm going to come back Wednesday during the season, have a Wednesday and Friday show. Kind of review what happened, preview Thursday night, and then Friday, I go over the rest of the schedule. And I like doing that. It's just my work schedule kind of conflicted. I had Corey, a.k.a. the Red Sea, and Alex as regulars on my Wednesday show. I haven't even talked to them yet. They may not come on as regulars, but I might be able to get them to come back on. Keys agreed, if I did do a Wednesday show, to do the Wednesday one before the first Thursday night, well, technically second Thursday night football game between Kansas City and the Chargers. So, Jimmy, man, finally have a Friday off, man. That's fantastic to hear. I don't know if you watched all my videos. Right now, my number one bet would be the Houston Texans over 4.5. I really like it because you can get a positive number. I do like under 10 for Denver, and I like over either 5.5 or 6 for Seattle. Those are two teams I'm kind of monitoring a little bit, but yeah. Funk, come on. One Fried 40's in the house, man. Yes. I got something called Plex, so I have to watch it when they get released. I'm not going to pay whatever it is for HBO, but hopefully I get them live every season. Every season, it's a little different when they get released. Sometimes they get released like the next day. Sometimes it's like a week or two. I think it was one. I think it was. I don't remember if it's Cowboys, but like it was like 1, 2, and 4. So we'll have to find out. Yeah, DK is going to get paid, folks. He is going to get a boatload of money. Yes, he is going to get paid a lot of money. Now, I'll be honest, I don't know if it's with Seattle, but somebody's going to give him a lot of money. Are they doing this an in-season hard? I don't know yet. I hope they are. I'll have to double check, Wink. I'll double check. You doing coke at a carry? So I should not have admitted that. I like Katy. Okay, you know what? Let me rephrase. I used to love Katy Perry, the new short-haired blonde who's political. I do not. But the hot and cold singer, funny videos, very attractive, fun songs, great. Political, short, blonde hair, no. Just got coffee vid, Dan. If my calculations are correct so far, you're looking to put action on Denver. I'm really leaning towards Denver not making the playoffs. I think that's a solid number. I really think that they're going to finish dead last again in the division. I hate betting on first-time head coaches. Take a look at Matt LaFleur in Green Bay. I thought that was going to be a disaster. He won 13 games, won 13 games again, won 13 games again, or is it 12? And so I hate doing that, but I seriously think that the Denver Broncos hype is just crazy, and I really think they're the fourth best team in the division. I really do. Oh, dude, this is awesome. Getting tickets for season opener. Is it a cupcake? Michigan State's I'm actually really excited to watch Michigan State football this year. For those of you that don't know, they gave their head coach a boatload of money. It's the Michigan, Ohio State, Penn State, and Michigan State coaches all get paid insane amounts of money. All of them are bringing in top classes. That Big Ten East, which is, by the way, I can't wait till they bring in USC and UCLA. The old school traditionalist hates that USC and UCLA are leaving the Pac-12, but going to the Big Ten for a coast-to-coast conference, it's kind of going to be cool, to tell you the truth. It's going to make that conference a powerhouse, and they're recruiting guys in SEC territory. Michigan State is, and they got some really good players, man. I'm going to try to watch. I say this every year. I want to try to watch more college football, but I do want to watch more Michigan State because I really like what they're doing. If you hear any hard knocks on Dan's live stream, it's the hookers he has locked up. He does crack. Jesus. Denver Gator, what's up, football nerds, man? Denver Gator, what's up? Denver Gator joined the midnight live stream, man. Yeah. It's it was a good show, man. I had a great time. A little shout, Denver Gator. We think Dan against. By the way, Denver Gators all on it. HBO is only $14 a month, dude. I know. I got the free deal when I wanted to binge watch. I think it was Game of Thrones. I wanted to watch like all of the final season, and yeah, I don't want to pay it, man. I'm sorry. I'm paying for YouTube TV here in a few weeks because I want to watch a lot of preseason football, and I just keep my expenses to a minimum. Sorry, man. I'm kind of a cheap fuck, that is. But yeah, I know. By the way, if it's like 3 or 4 weeks into it, I'll binge and I'll pay for a month. But I got Plex. I've used it in the past. Sometimes it works perfectly, sometimes it doesn't. So DK Metcalf signed it. I did not know he signed a 3-year extension. I probably should. Fan also has Pat's not going over 8.5 winning divisions. So there's that. As of right now, that's kind of my upset pick. Is I have New England winning the AFC East. It's kind of a upset pick. I don't know if I'm going to bet on that. If I do, it's going to be a pretty small amount. But that's kind of my upset pick. But I love over 8.5. In-season knocks. Ooh, that's going to be a good one. My bad. You're getting Big Bertha's. You know what? I am so glad Candy and Nicole joined me at the Katy Perry concert. The average age was like 12. It was really, really uncomfortable. Super uncomfortable. So I don't know where the Big Berthas are coming in. They tried to get Kyler watching film. This is, by the way, this was kind of funny. Something that was really this was something really, really funny that was just released, is that Kyler Murray is required to do film study in his contract. And I thought that was really, really comical. And also I'm kind of wondering, like how much of him is just, improvising, going, I mean, Kyler Murray's maybe one of the few, I was going to say only, but really one of the few players that can just do whatever he wants and maybe work out. I mean, honestly, he could probably play wide receiver or corner in the NFL with that phenomenal speed. And he does have great arm talent. He's not one of the 5 best yet, but I mean, the freakish talent's amazing. And, I'm kind of curious about that. My Friday nights aren't complete without dance. Okay. So by the way, I'm not going to rant too much about here. So, I actually want to screenshot that response. So anyway, one of the guys on the show said that Stafford was better than Rodgers, and that just like, okay. But he did that to get a rise out of Gooch, who kind of goes in and out of the stream. So, but I thought he was serious, and I'm like, oh boy. And so pretty funny. Also getting tickets to Wisconsin game, Minnesota and Rutgers, and tickets to a lot. Dude, this is awesome. One Pride 40 is doing some really cool shit. But I'm kind of, you have to tell me because you're in Big Ten country. I'm kind of curious about Minnesota. They got, I think it's PJ Fleck. They got him from Western Michigan after he led them to an undefeated regular season. They lost the bowl game. They had some really good recruits. He was bringing in NFL talent, not tons of NFL talent, but he brought in some, the receivers with the Jets. Now he was, I think, 5th overall, a tackle who was 2nd round pick. Matter of fact, isn't he your starting left tackle in Detroit? But anyway, he took over at Minnesota, and he had some success early. I think he's kind of been wallowing in mediocrity. Wisconsin, I have a huge man crush on that running back. He was 17. He was a linebacker. Now they moved up. He's like 6'2", 240, 245. Seriously, I don't even know if he could play running back in the NFL. I mean, dude, this kid is maybe not next year, but 2 years from now, he'll be a junior and he'll probably be the Heisman winner. I really, really, really want to watch this kid run. Like, I really get excited about some of these Wisconsin running backs. I loved Ron Dane, didn't really pan out in the pros, but watching him in college was a ton of fun. Melvin Gordon, who's with Denver, this is a guy I really thought he should have won the Heisman, but in the Big Ten championship game, they lost 59-0 to Ohio State. So, it's kind of hard to win a Heisman when you get blanked in a in a conference title game, but he had over 2,000 that season. I was a huge fan of Melvin Gordon, and then Jonathan Taylor, but they got this kid, and I'm drawing a blank on his name, but 17-year-old freshman, 6'2", like 240, looks like a man among boys. I mean, seriously, if he keeps growing, like, it wouldn't surprise me if he ends up playing like a 250, 260. So that's going to be a lot of fun. Even though you're a Michigan State fan, that Wisconsin running back, that's going to be a lot of fun to watch. So, hey, man, Punk, that's okay, man. I'm glad you're here, man. I appreciate it. I really appreciate it. I always love your comments. I love the fact that you watch my videos and you've seen all of them. And I apologize not responding to the comment yet. So I'm sorry about that. I hate to say it, but yeah, you're probably right. One Pride says the other choice, Ohio State, but I always know the results of that going to be. I'm gonna let you know, man. I seriously think Ohio State could win national championship this year. I think they're. I don't pay attention to college football like I do the NFL, but they in my book, that's a I probably have Ohio State probably would be my favorite right now, even though Alabama's loaded. I don't know what I'll have to wait and see, but I kind of agree with you. I think Ohio State's loaded. I just DM'd you the link on Twitter. Okay, he did sign an extension. Okay, 3-year extension. I'd be curious to know if there's still a possibility, even with the contract, they could be traded. It's rare when you do that, but that's a good move by Seattle. I think it's a good move by Seattle just because I love a guy like Metcalf and a guy like Lockett. And it's kind of weird because Lockett does all the things somebody built like DK Metcalf should do. I mean, he's the guy on 3rd and 7 who runs the slant route. He's the guy you use on short yardage. He's the guy you go to on third down. And then DK Metcalf's the guy that you really want to go deep. It's kind of weird, but it's a great combo. I really like both of these guys. They also got Dwayne Eskridge. Actually, I think he goes by D now. It's weird. In Combine is D now. This year, he changed the name to D, whatever. 2nd-round pick, I believe, out of Western Michigan. Kick, punt returner, slot receiver. Be a lot of fun. And then Noah Fant. But I also listen to my videos. So you know that Big Bertha is coming. Kyler had public response about film study. Okay. I didn't know that. Denver Gator, I thank you very much for sharing that. I just thought it was really, really interesting. Really interesting. Not only do I think it was interesting as in the contract, but interesting it was made public. So yeah. Aaron, I was kind of like, I don't know what to do. Stafford was better in the playoffs this year, but Rodgers might be the best right. Well, that was another thing when doing our quarterback head coach combo. How do we judge? And I was doing it how I want the guys in 2022. So somebody about somebody like, for example, Tom Brady, maybe the greatest quarterback of all time. I'm not sure going into the 2022 season, he would be a top 5 quarterback, but going into 2022, I would have Mahomes over Rodgers. But if we're doing the ratings, from last year, I would put Rodgers over Mahomes. So it was kind of a tough thing. We had some disagreements, but when he said he thought he was just talking straight up. He said Stafford, I would take Stafford over Rodgers, and I was just like, oh God. But yeah. Yo, Dan, you heard about Ray Gore being bumped in the second team for camp. He also fell twice on route. No, I did not, and this is why I want you to chime in on the show. This is the whole point of the channel. So I want to hear things like this. And by the way, all my social media links are below. Slasher, man, follow me on social media, man. Hit me, send me a DM when you hear things like this. This is huge. because I could easily see Philly just cutting ties with the guy. I mean, in a perfect world, he builds himself up, but you've seen this is that some guys just don't work in Philly. But I seriously, if I was an NFL team and I needed help at wide receiver, I would throw up, a 6th or 7th round to Philly for Rager. I really would. I mean, I tell you what, I think Kansas City Chiefs are loaded at wide receiver right now, but if Rager became a member of the Kansas City Chiefs, I would be excited. I love this kid out of TCU. If you didn't get a chance to watch him out of TCU, smooth routes, good hands, kick, punt, return ability. He's supposed to be small, but he was listed at like 5'11", 205. I mean, he's listed like a running back, but hasn't shown any of that ability yet. So, but yeah, I think it's just about him. Seems like he would get lost in the back lineup and just eat his cap. Yeah, if he's second string, I think if Philly's smart, they just cut bait, get 6th or 7th for next year. I mean, they got extra draft capital for next year, and if Hurts isn't the answer, you're going to go ahead and get a quarterback. But if Hurts is the answer, that's your guy. You have 2 number ones, and you never know what you can get. So you could be able to do something very creative. I think it would be smart if he's second string to see what you can get for him. I would bet, because I think the Eagles are doing some really smart moves right now. I would bet that the Eagles are, making some phone calls right now and seeing what they can get. They're probably trying for a 5, settle for a 6 or 7. But that's actually really key, because it leads me to believe that there would be a trade coming soon. So, Slasher walking is difficult, bud, but take it easy. Alex, man, yes. My obviously long anticipated return to the show has come. Yes, Alex, I am always very happy to hear from you. Right now, the Houston Texans are my number 1 bet. I mean, I love over 4.5 for positive money. All you got to do is win 5 games, and whatever you bet, you would make more. Right now, 100 bet would make you 105. So, yeah. Stafford against the Bucs in the playoffs with classic Stafford. God, I don't want to trash Stafford, but I remember watching that game. I remember thinking, God, remember they were down. I think it was 27-3 at one point. I remember thinking, if Tampa Bay just plays a regular game, they win this easy. And then when Fournette scores that touchdown, I want to say 43 seconds left, I remember thinking he should have just took a knee. I remember running, because they everybody lined up in the middle. He just bounced outside. And I remember when Fournette was strolling into the end zone, I remember thinking he should just take a knee. You don't want to give him 43 seconds. So, yeah. You're right, Funk. My expectations are way too high. Rager. I am with news from the Texans camp and an update on Mechie, though I'm sure you all know about it. By the way, yeah, if you don't know, Hodgkins going to miss the whole season. Just brutal. I was actually wrong, and one of the guys when I did the Texans video, I don't know if you know who he is, Alex. He's been commenting on a couple of my videos. He's not on the chat right now. I hope he does join the live stream. Apparently, the injury for John Mechie wasn't as bad as thought of, and he was going to be a participant in training camp. They were expecting a week 3, and I was like, I did not know this. And then he got cancer. Right? Yeah. Anyway, that's just brutal. It's very sad. Hey, basically 2022 is going to be a redshirt year. Hopefully he makes a full recovery. And the best part is, let's just take the human element out of it for a second, which, of course you want the guy to recover from cancer, but let's just take the human element out of it for a minute. Let's just be dicks here. Let's just talk as football fans. He'll be a full participant in 2023. And when I say full participant, like, he'll know the whole offense. he'll be ready to go. He'll be the plan will be in play for him to take over as a number 2 or number 3 receiver on that team, depending on how well Nico Collins does. So, except when Stafford was doing it with the Lions, it was some meaningless game against Jacksonville. Wisconsin, Braylon Allen. Oh yeah, dude. I really think that not next year, but the year after, he'll win a Heisman. Seriously, he'll probably go for like over 1,500 this year. And when you're 17 and you're 245 and you're built like that, he has the frame to be 250 or 260. It wouldn't surprise me if even if he wins a Heisman that they are like, you want to play linebacker in the NFL? It's good. Don't be surprised if he ends up being an NFL linebacker and a Heisman Trophy winning running back. Don't be surprised. But I think in 2 years from now, he wins the Heisman. He'll have a major, major year this year. And I think he'll win a Heisman when he comes into the NFL. It'll be interesting to see, He might be a 255 pound running back like Derrick Henry. And I know it sounds like a lot comparing him to Derrick Henry, but I think the comparisons are going to be accurate. I said comparison, not exactly, but like seriously, like this guy, if you haven't had a chance to watch this guy play, like it's amazing. And he was only 17. He's a 17-year-old college freshman who just, it's just he's just built different. I mean, you're talking about elite college athletes. He's just built different. It's just freaky. Doing good, Slasher. Baseball's in full swing with trade deadline around the corner. I'm hyped at training camp to start as well. Man, I'm just glad you're here, Alex. Man, I'm glad you're here. I'm high on the Texans over 4.5. On Michigan State roster, we have a few offensive players. They got several. Yeah. Michigan State's really starting to tap into getting 4-star players, guys that are future NFL players, and that's why I really want to watch him play this year. Also, I don't think he's an NFL player, but I did like their quarterback. So, I mean, they're going to start ranked in the top 20 if I'm correct. So it'll be interesting. Now, even if they finish 4th in the Big Ten East, that's still a top 20 team. And if you're a Michigan State fan, you got to like the fact that you're going to be a perennially ranked team. Obviously, you want to make the next jump up, but wide receivers getting paid and regulars can't stay up. That's a good one. Please do not follow Larry and Stafford. He's a Watson shill, and as we all agree, I'm sure Watson is on the list of non-liked players. I don't want to bash other YouTube channels. I'm not familiar with them, so but I don't like not promoting other players. So Alex, yeah, I'm hoping the Phillies can add someone like Quinton. I know nothing about baseball, so sorry, Slasher, but Houston's trading chest. If it's okay, baseball talk. I know nothing. Just because I know Alex is a big Astros fan, I want the Astros to win, so that's kind of cool. I would take Stafford over Rodgers right now, cheaper and younger. That's kind of interesting. I don't know who's okay. I wouldn't, and the reason why is I honestly don't know who would be more likely to play 17 games this year, Stafford or Rodgers. I'd almost take Rodgers over Stafford health wise. As far as cheaper, yeah, I think so by a hair, not much. So, secondly, on the first day of minicamp, Mills has looked great, having amazing chemistry with Cook and his wide receiver plus that second-year tight end. I'm telling you, Mills, this is a good quarterback. This is a very good quarterback. Alex, you keep me updated on how they do. If you don't you got me on social media, man. Send me anything you can on a training camp with the Texans, because that is a team I'm betting on. Dan and I had a good argument. Okay, I don't think I really conveyed that I would take McVay over LaFleur, but I just think you can't underestimate what. When you said an all-time NFL record, I think you kind of got to say this is impressive. But I like we both agree McVay over LaFleur, but I just wanted to point out that LaFleur set an all-time NFL record. So then Darius Leonard's going to get people to call him Shaquille. Too late for that now. Yeah, this is kind of one of those weird things. He's like, Shaquille's his middle name. He says everybody calls him Shaquille. But this is something that I've seen in the NFL with a couple players that they want to change their first name. And, I don't get it. Oh, and Pascal won't be on the field as much as I originally thought. Dudes coming. I didn't know about sports hernia surgery. And the one thing I want to point out is that I don't dislike the player. I dislike where he was drafted. And even if, 15 years from now, he's like a perennial Pro Bowler, future Hall of Famer, I still won't like it, because you could have had him later. And this Lions team really could have used pick number was 46. They really could use 46 on somebody else. That's the thing I don't like. But I do like the player. And seriously, keeping a guy who, if he's going to play a 5 technique, and you'd have to answer this for me, but if he's going to play a 5 technique, he's got to put on the NFL. I call it the NFL 20 anyway. So he's got to put on the NFL 20, right? He's got to recover. This is a guy really in Pascal that I really think's a guy that you almost want to redshirt. I hate using that term, but that's a guy you really want to redshirt for this year, and then have him be a big key in 2023. That's not bad. This might not be a bad thing. Now for 2022, look, I hate saying this, because I'm pulling for the Lions because I get a lot of Lions love on this channel. But, you're probably looking at a rough year. You're probably looking at 6-7 wins, somewhere in that ballpark. But I really, when I look at the Lions, I'm like, hey, this is a team in 2023 that could really scare some people. And it really could. Jamison Williams, hopefully he's full speed, full participant. Amon-Ra St. Brown takes that next step up. You figure out how to use DeAndre Swift properly. You got a Pro Bowl tight end. Your offensive line stays intact. Hopefully your right tackle ends up being an absolute superstar. And then all you got to worry about in 2023 is when you have 2 picks in the first round is if Goff isn't the guy, we're going to draft our guy. So bright times are ahead for the Detroit Lions. But, yeah. Rager just doesn't like Philly. Just an add on the passing of his friend. He probably has 700 or 800 yards and plays like Green Bay. Yeah, I've seen this happen in a few with a few different players, and it's kind of weird. I've noticed this is really strange. I've noticed that it's players from Texas don't adapt to Philly well, and it's really weird because both Philly, I can say state of Pennsylvania, but let's just say. I've noticed it in Philly, not so much Pittsburgh, but I've noticed that because Texas is just giant football. Philly's a great sports town. Like Philly, hockey, basketball, baseball, like everything. But for some, I've noticed that there's a few players from Texas that just don't adapt to Philly very well. Yeah, he probably would have 700. Dude, seriously, have him in Kansas City. But one thing I've always noticed about Rager, every time I've seen him, he just looks like he hates football. Like he doesn't look happy. I don't know if it's Philly. Here's the thing: if you let's say put him, I don't know, Houston. Okay, goes back to Texas. Put him on the Houston Texans. If he's happy, does he produce like the player he was at TCU? Because when he was drafted in the first round, he was chosen 21. Justin Jefferson was 22. I like the pick. I like the player. I like the fit. You're right. I don't think seriously Philly. I really think Philly's trying to make a move to get rid of this guy. So, do you think all this stuff with Kyler Murray affects over under market at all? Because I'm feeling pretty good about the Cardinals over 8.5. I think the market recently has biased from a poor end of last year. Yes, I actually do think it affects the over under market. And I had Jimmy, I apologize. I had no idea the over under was 8.5. That is a fantastic number. I would definitely take the over. I haven't broke down the Cardinals yet. I definitely would take over 8.5. And do I think Kyler Murray stuff affects over under market? Yes, because it's public knowledge and bettors bet on public knowledge, right? So this, by the way, for those of you who don't do sports betting, you're getting some really excellent sports betting advice here. And because I live in Kansas where sports betting just became legal, you take advantage of some of this stuff. You may want to just get involved in sports betting, make some small bets. This is an opportunity to make some money here. So you're getting some advanced sports betting knowledge here. Yes, it does affect the market because people see things, they think they're getting an inside tip. They're really not. And yes, over if you put action, I wouldn't do it right now because Kyler Murray gets hurt, defensive players get hurt, but and I haven't done my Cardinals breakdown yet, so I haven't even looked at the over/under for the Cardinals yet. But 8.5, that's a great number, and you turned me on to them because if that's what ends up being. Listen, right before the season starts, if Arizona Cardinals, if that's 8.5, I'm gonna put action on them. I used to do a Wednesday show. I think you remember I had Corey, aka the Red Sea. I haven't chatted with him. We're on social media, we like each other's posts and things like that. But I haven't had a chance to chat with him. I'll get a hold of him, see if he has some additional inside information on Cardinals training camp, what's going on. Remember, DeAndre Hopkins going to be out the first 6 games of the season, but A-Rod can fix. Jalen Reed, Keon Coleman, Malik Carr. Oh, you're talking about some of your guys from Michigan State. Yeah, I don't know their names, I'll be honest, but they got some really good players. Though a great development, though it's Petrie and Stanley at safety and corner respectively forced Mills to go to a second look. 20 out of 26 passes, the secondary will get better. You got some young players. Here's the thing about the Lovie Smith defense. It's by NFL standards, it's pretty simple. You basically have some you're gonna have some growing pains, but the neat thing is about the Tampa 2 defense that Lovie Smith's running is that by NFL standards, it's pretty simple. So these guys are going to get better as the season goes along. That's another reason why I do like over 4.5. You get young, talented players, even though they'll struggle early, they'll be better at the end of the season. I'm just trying to win 5 here. So yeah. Fun fact, our tight end signed a deal with WWE. Really? I did not know that. That's pretty awesome. That's pretty awesome, man. That's pretty smart on Hutchinson's. Actually, you know what? I thought that Kittle was going to do the same thing. So it's really smart. Jesse Bates should be an Eagle right now. Wow. Dude, if Jesse Bates signs or is traded to the Eagles, that would almost lock them. I almost would lock them to winning the NFC East. I really would. Patrick Corbin is a scrub, I'm afraid. Lastly, when relating to Mitchie, who will miss the whole season due to leukemia, the easiest to cure, and it's an earliest stage. The good news is, I told you, Dan, week 3, now he has to work on. You did, Alex. You did. I was right. Or I'm sorry. You were right. I was wrong. And the Hodgkin's thing, the way I understand it is that even though it's cancer, the way I understand it is because they got it so soon, it's very likely that he will have a full recovery. So I feel like a little kid in a candy store on football. I do too, man. I can't tell you how excited giddy I am. I'm actually excited to do the next 5 videos. It's going to be a lot of fun. So Alex Longbordia, main question is, after the treatment, weight loss, muscle loss, etc., we got the 100 back to form like it was at Alabama? The answer is yes. Take a look at Eric Berry. Now, Eric Berry situation was very unique because what he did was he was undergoing treatment and still doing a full workout. And his father was a professional chef. So like when you are you're basic. I'm not a doctor. I'm kind of regurgitating what I heard from Eric Berry. But when they're pumping poison into your body, you vomit. That's the reason why a lot of people smoke marijuana. It gives you the munchies. Well, because his father was a professional chef, his father was like, what do you want to eat? And I will make it for you. So it's very, very difficult. But the answer is yes. With modern training day and a ton of work. You have to realize Eric Berry had a massive work ethic. So is it easy? No, but like players that tear an ACL, I mean, it's different than tearing an ACL, but you can tear an ACL and come back and be the same strength you were. You can come back, but yes, it's not easy. Yes, he's probably going to lose 10, 15, 20 pounds. Yes, you can put that back on. So the answer is yes, but it's hard. It's very difficult. So it's something to pay attention to. So I'm missing where it usually goes to. I feel like we're talking about an award. So dear DEA, high on the Texans. We're getting you're getting 2 5-star players. I did not know that. I don't know if you follow me on social media, but all my social media links. By the way, you can always email me directly. But if you guys sign 2 5-star players, let me know who they are. And if you don't mind, I really want to hear this. Predictions for the first-time head coach this year and for the best second-time head coach this year. Predictions. Okay. Okay, that's a tough one. Predictions for the best first-time head coach this year and best second-time head coach. Without having the whole list in front of me, this year, second-time head coach Todd Bowles. And the reason why is that right now, I think Tampa Bay would be my favorite to win the NFC. They're loaded. Brady wants, to go out on top. He's got that great deal for as soon as he retires. I think next year he's going to do TV. I think he's going to be really good too. So Todd Bowles this year. Rookie head coaches. Let's see here if I got my list right. We got Denver. We got one in Denver. We got one in Miami. We got one with the Giants. I think there's more. I know those 3. Boom. First time head coach. If we're talking record, or are we talking success? You know what? I think I'm missing one. I'm almost positive I'm missing one, but I know I got those 3. I seriously, record-wise, I'm gonna throw you a real curve here. It might be Dable, and the reason why I say that is that they got some real interesting talent on defense, and Barkley stays healthy. I mean, honestly, Barkley stays healthy. That could be a surprise wild card team. You got to figure out the quarterback situation. Is Daniel Jones the guy? Does he stay healthy? The bottom line in Denver and in Miami, you're just going through, a brutal division. But the Giants are a team that not only are people sleeping on, there's some real good talent. I mean, Thibodeau and Ojulari on the outside. I mean, that edge rush, and I mean Leonard Williams. I those three guys on the front seven all could be like when the NFL does like the top 100 players. All those three guys could easily be top 50 players by the end of this year. So I don't know. I really don't know. That's a real good one. Oh, Minnesota. You know what? Minnesota. I'm sorry. I forgot about Minnesota. Probably Minnesota. Maybe. By the way, I think it's interesting. I don't know if you guys have heard this. I'd love to hear from some of you Lions fans or anybody who's a Vikings fan. There's been a lot of talk recently that Cousins and Zimmer just hated each other. And by the way, if a lot of people might say Zimmer was not a likable coach. Defensive players loved Zimmer. But him and Cousins really had a hard time getting along. So maybe Kevin O'Connell. I don't know. That's actually a good one. I'm kind of just going off the top of my head. I'll go with Kevin O'Connell. Kevin O'Connell and Bowles. MSU, yeah, and they're there. They're actually there. They're there because they have a top 20 team. So when you're perennially ranked, and that's what they're doing, yeah, you become a national brand. Do I think that they're below, Ohio State and Michigan and maybe even Penn State right now? Yeah, I mean, going into the season, I see them as 4, but yeah, they're building a national. They're actually already there, and if they're getting 5-star players, then yes. Texans will win 6-7 games this year. I think people are way too high on Jacksonville. Mills played way better than Lawrence, and I trust Houston's team to build over Jacksonville. I agree with all those things. Mills actually did play better than Lawrence. He really did. And you can blame Urban Meyer all you want for it, but I mean, let's just, which one played better? And the answer is Mills did play better than Lawrence. He really did. Jacksonville was way more aggressive in free agency. It'll be interesting. That'll be an interesting debate, but I'm just trying to get over 5 with Houston. They want to go crazy and win 7. That's fine by me. But yeah. You see it with Tuck coming and heavy nil use. Who's Tuck? And the nil use, over the next couple of years, we're going to see some changes with the nil use. I'm going to call it right now. I don't know enough about college football, but I still think Michigan State's going to be a perennially ranked top 20 team. So, yeah, but he did it with Rodgers. He's referring to LaFleur and the record. Yeah, he did it with Rodgers again. At the end of the day, Texans are taking their cherry helmets to the fracking Super Bowl, and there's nothing y'all can do. If you haven't seen the red helmets, they look just like the Chiefs. It's like Chiefs red with the Texan symbol. It seriously, go take a look at it. Google it right now. It's Chiefs red with the Texan symbol. If you took off the Texan symbol, you put that arrowhead, and it's Chiefs red. And technically, I know it's slightly darker shade of red, but it's Chiefs red. I mean, it's kind of cool looking. But it's Chiefs red. Stroud. Hey man, hey dude, I know you're a big baseball fan, so yeah, man, yeah, I want you to be happy because I think we all agree. I mean, you said yourself 6-7 wins, so. And you're on board with my Chiefs, so that's awesome. Hey, you can count me in with those high on the Jags. He had 3 wins with Urban Meyer, who may be a top college head coach, terrible NFL head coach. Doug Peterson has a Super Bowl ring. I'll continue to buy. The thing with Jacksonville is that they're kind of an interesting team because you got a lot of free agency. How's Peterson and Lawrence going to match immediately? It's going to be a fun team. I'm not betting on Jacksonville, but that's a fun team to watch. Another thing is that I really like the Houston, Jacksonville, how are these two teams going to battle in the division? How are these two teams going to grow? So it'll be interesting. Hey, Alex, I love those helmets you watch Tom Grossi freaking fracking Super Bowl. Is why I ask. Dude, they're cool. I'm just saying they're Chiefs red. Yeah. The arm talent. Yeah. That's probably my Heisman favorite right now. CJ Stroud. It's so hard to win back-to-back Heismans, but yeah. I don't know what you think of Brett Coleman. He had Pascal for late first-round grade, so saying that he would have fallen from 46 all the way to 97 seems like it might have been your opinion. No, it definitely is my opinion. And here's the deal, Funk, and here's why I say this. I literally went through thousands and thousands of mock drafts, and I went through several hundred, maybe over 1,000, 3-4 round drafts. None of them had Pascal as top 100. Almost none of them. Here's the deal. He would have been available at 66. I'm telling you this right now. I would bet any amount of money he would have been available at 66. I don't know who Brett Coleman is. All right, I don't know who Brett Coleman is. If he did have a late first round grade, the thousands of thousands. Pascal's a guy I did not see on. I probably went through over 5,000, maybe even 10,000 mock drafts. I'm not exaggerating on this amount. He never came up. Never. I did several 3-round mock drafts, and I looked over multiple 3-round mock drafts, and Pascal's name almost never showed up. Almost never. This is a guy I like. I really, really like. He just was not worth the 46th pick in the draft. He would have been available at 66. He probably would have been available in the 3rd round. He might have been available in the 4th round. He might have been available early in the 4th. And is this a guy who's going to be a stud? Sure. By the way, take a look at Leo Chenal, the Chiefs' 3rd round pick. I think he was 101. There was a lot of talk of him going late first. Chenal easily had a better draft grade than Pascal. Easily. This is not a debate. All right? Not a debate. Chenal had a better draft grade than Pascal. Chenal was 101. This is a guy I like. And if you're planning on bulking him up and using him as a 5 tech, I like it. It's just that it's going to take some time. You're basically, if that's the plan, and you're the one who told me that's the plan, you're basically redshirting him. So, and this is a team that needs to get better fast. The Lions do. They really do. Like, there got to be some urgency, you know. I mean, I think they're going to win 6-7 games, okay? But the urgency to try to get better needs to be emphasized. And with Williams being out week 6, 7, no training camp, like that's a red flag. But the future's bright. 2022 is not so good. I don't know who Brett Coleman is, dude. I know you. We're now. Yeah, you can follow me on Twitter. You can DM me, man. Send me some links. And by the way, you know, Funk, I've said this many times. If I'm wrong, I have no problem admitting I'm wrong. I can say I'm wrong, but I literally went through thousands of mock drafts. This Pascal's a guy I know, but he was not. He would have been available, and he would have been available at 66, maybe at 97. Universally, everybody had Leo Chenal ranked higher than Pascal, and Chenal went 101. So I'm just saying that from the user himself, The Tree of Urination, but I do watch Grossi Posse. I kind of want to. Okay, I'm all right. Let's do this here. My football knowledge dwarfs Grossi. Like, there's no comparison. I know 100 times more about football than this guy. I like his content. He's entertaining. He's fun. He does a lot of things that I should do. He's a former comedian, by the way, if you didn't know. Real fun guy, entertaining. Dude, his videos, some of the stuff's amazing. My football knowledge dwarfs his. It's not even a comparison. Not even close. He's more entertaining than I am. I'm better looking. So, I got 2 out of 3. But I do like the guy. Nice Alex, huge fan of the tree. I don't know that. I missed the show multiple times. Not, I have to find a midnight show doing the quarterback bracket, though. I left after the Houston Indy one. It lasted like 3.5 hours. It was the first time I was on the midnight show. I want to come back. and want to talk. We actually didn't talk any Chiefs, which I know you're disappointed about. Carlos Dunlap, my opinion on Orlando Brown is completely different than those guys. But I found out one thing I did find out in joining the show is that if I said 100's a bigger number than 5 and Key says 5's a bigger number than 100, then everybody's going to agree 5's a bigger number than 100. I could not win an argument to save my life on that show. So I'm kind of glad we didn't talk about Orlando Brown because my take on Orlando Brown's completely different than what 99% of Chiefs fans are saying. So we didn't touch that, but I did wish we would have talked about Carlos Dunlap because that's kind of a huge signing for the Kansas City Chiefs. So it feels weird to say that the worst thing about you're right, man. It's scouting 101. Scout the player, not them. Because seriously, Funk, CJ Stroud's the Detroit Lions quarterback in 2023. You'd be happy. Clickbait's a very good show, Gator. Do you watch the Denver Man? I have no idea who Clickbait is. Alex, DM me, man. Send me some links, man. Alex, I'm a big fan of Petrie, corner or safety. I think he's definitely playing safety. If I'm correct, Alex would have to quote me. He's going to replace Jordan Reed day one starter. A little more speed, a little more athleticism. Not going to hit her. Not going to hit. Funk's obsessed with his footwork. You should be. Petrie is going to be our starting safety. He's replacing. Correct me if I'm wrong. He's replacing Jordan Reed. So, one pride. So is Rex Ryan. Rex Ryan's obsessed with the footwork. I'm sorry, I'm a little behind. Alex, actually, I have some convos on social media with Perna, starting him almost 5 years. He's the GOAT. All right, dude, send me some links, man. Dude, you message me, man. Because yeah, okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. Yeah. Slasher Hard, I didn't see the comment. Like Dan says, yes, he'll be back to Rue form if he works hard. Yeah, he will. It's a bitch. It's a bitch. All right. I'm not a medical professional. I do have some minor experience with this, so not personal, but yeah, it's a bitch. It'll take some work because it happened late July. By time training camp comes around at the end of the season, 2023 training camp, you should be 100%. I got to 7 to 8 wins for the Lions. Fair. Okay. You're hearing this rumor, and what it is that nobody really knows who's calling the plays, but Patricia has been notably working with the offensive line and the offense, and he very well could be. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. I mean, X's and O's. I think he's a great coach. I've heard from many people before he took the job that like his football knowledge is unparalleled. The dude's super smart. I think that he had a problem relating to players, the people element. Being a head coach is something that I really think that Patricia's a guy I really don't think will ever be an NFL head coach again. I don't think he's a college guy, but I think that as an offensive or defensive coach, it might be a really, really, really good thing. We'll have to wait and see. He might win 10 rings for your this dude better say hack it for dick. Dude, you're I mean, The AFC West is brutal, man. You know what? I just found out yesterday. It's Paul Hackett's kid, and that just I should have known better. I didn't realize that. I see lots of people saying they don't like Lovey. A lot of criticism about being offensive side of the ball, though. I can say we don't have to worry about Lovey. Worry with Smith's influence here. Yeah, the one thing about Lovey Smith is that I really think he's going to have. I don't think I really touched too much on this in the video, but I really think Pep Hamilton is just going to run with the offense. Pep Hamilton was the quarterback coach last year. This is a very well-respected coach, and because him and Lovey Smith worked together last year, I think Lovey is really comfortable by saying, Pep, you run the offense, I'm going to run the defense, and I'm going to be the head coach, but you take over the offense. And I kind of think that's going to work. Now, when I say work, 6-7 wins. But I think that if I'm the Houston Texans, I'm going to just build Davis Mills into a top 10 quarterback, which I think he will be, get everything else in play, and really consider winning the division in 2023. And I think that's possible. The offense fully all the coaches all sense the side of the ball, and the players are mainly a decision of Pep. Yeah. So how about the wide receiver health up in Green Bay? Yikes. There's been some injury. I don't know. I really don't know. I didn't know there were some injuries in Green Bay. The one player I really want to see, a guy I was really high on, is the third round pick, Amari Rodgers. Is he out? I don't know, man. Spending big dollars now equal big wins. / remember a little while back, y'all went big and got nothing out of it. Yeah, you do have a good point. And that, by the way, this is NFL history. This isn't just this year, next year. So the reason why I talk about Mills versus Lawrence is Mills helped win games against a bad head coach. Anyone saying Coley deserved another year is killing himself. Urban was bad, but Coley wasn't far off. No, you're right. You're right. I keep hearing, Lawrence is going to be so much better because he had a bad head coach. Well, Coley really wasn't the answer in Houston. So, Vax Funk, Matt Patricia. By the way, just so you know, and I'm sorry I'm really behind on comments, but nobody really knows what's going on in New England. Nobody really knows. So. It's a darker red. Yes, you're right. But it's kind of Chiefs red. It's very close to Chiefs red. Yes, I'm more of a glossy. Yeah, you're right. It is more of a by the way, the helmets are cool. Just first time I saw it, I'm like, that's Chiefs red. So sore subject, but Lions are paying Patricia to call plays without a designated coordinator role. Bill is a sneaky fuck. So you really don't know what's going on. The Lions didn't have 66 when day 2 started because Mike Sight said something. This is when the name Edwards, the linebacker from Philly dude, went to the second. Okay, yes, I'm fully aware because they traded. Let me see if I have the trade information. I'm behind on my comments, so I don't want to break out my notebook. But they traded 46 and 66 and 32 to get 12 and 46. I think I got that right. I didn't like the trade. And what I would have done if I was the Lions is take your receiver at 32, take another player at 34, and then you could draft Pascal at 66. And then you also could have gotten creative in the draft and traded 46 back. If Pascal was the guy that you're targeting, you could have gone from 46 back anywhere and anywhere in the second round, probably early third. That's my point, is that you could have traded down. I had a Raiders fan argue with me when they drafted the Ohio State corner at 19. I'm drawing a blank on the guy's name. He's out of football now. That it was a good pick. And I said, no, it wasn't a good pick because he should have gone in the second round. And his response was, well, we couldn't find a trade partner. Well, that's the definition of not being a good pick. Bottom line, you didn't have to take him at 46. You could have taken him at 66. You could have taken him at 55. You could have taken him at 62. That's why I don't like the pick. You could have got him much later. And even though 32, let me see if I remember this right. What was it? 32, 34. Anyway, trade value wise, you wanted to trade. Okay. Pascal you could have had him Pascal easily is available in the 50s. I think he would have been available 70s, 80s, and 90s. So, and I can't prove this, though. So, I mean, I can't prove it. And if you found somebody who's got NFL draft knowledge who disagrees, okay, I'm no problem. Dude, send me a link. I'll subscribe to this channel and check it out. So, need to check out Jacoby Windman, dude. Send me some stuff, man. I believe it or not, if you DM me, I check it out. So, Denver said the plan is use the Lions bankroll not when it. Dude, yeah. Send me some stuff. Yes, exactly. My knowledge, school teacher before COVID. I thought he was okay. So here's what I thought. He was a comedian who went to being a substitute school teacher, and then when COVID hit, his YouTube channel exploded. And now he's just doing the show full time. So we were tied a few times, and the chat settled it. I know, but it floored me that I couldn't get Aaron or Gooch. Or I kind of expected it with Gooch, but anytime I had a point that disagreed with anything you or Gooch said, I couldn't get you guys to sway over. Not even one. And here's the thing: some of my arguments made perfect sense. 100's bigger number than 5. No, 5's bigger number, Dan. We all agree. And I'm like, okay. All right. So I'm really glad the Orlando Brown, because I literally could have said Orlando Brown played at OU and you guys would all disagree. So, but Dan, if you want to get together again, we need definitely talk Orlando, but I'd love to hear different because Gucci and I'll disagree on Orlando. I disagree with, I think, 99% of Chiefs fans on Orlando Brown. And I kind of don't want to rant on it because I'm behind on it. But if you want to, we can have an Orlando Brown conversation. I'm going to say this, and then I'm going to kind of move on. When Orlando Brown was in Baltimore, he said he wasn't reporting to camp unless he's a top 5 left tackle. He comes to Kansas City and he says, I'm not going to report to camp unless I'm a top 5 left tackle. And Chiefs fans are trying to make it sound like, oh, well, we're shocked by this. Nobody should be shocked. The Chiefs organization shouldn't be shocked. The fans said they shouldn't be shocked. He's been saying the same thing for the last couple of years, and the Chiefs dropped the ball. Wide receiver duo Nick Collins and Brandon Cooks, and the young tight end Brendan Jordan on the wing is a sick combination, especially when the two second years are in. Dude, by the way, Nick Collins has massive upside. Sat out because of COVID. 6'4", 210, runs like a 4.4. Oh, dude, yeah. I'll send you some links. Yeah. Dude, please send me some links. I will definitely check them out. That's the name, Damon Arnett. Yes, that's the name. Yes, restaurant and sit with football kids. A huge. I don't get where the foot fetish comes from, but I talked so much about footwork with Ike Ekwonu, the Carolina Panthers 6th-round pick. So Cook also says he believes in Nick Cassio and what he's building, and with also expects Lovey to be. Oh yeah, I think that's it. I really like what the Houston Texans are doing, and I think Mills is going to end up being a top 10 NFL quarterback. So there's a lot of things I like about the Houston Texans. And like I said, my number one bet's 4.5, and I'm really liking that. That was the guy. Yeah, I had a Raiders fan tell me it was a great pick, and I'm like, no, he's a second rounder. And he's like, well, because they couldn't trade down. I'm like, well, that's the definition of a bad pick. But they were to retrade. Hey, if I'm going to be sweet if Patricia's trash for the Patriots and releases. By the way, you cannot. It's kind of funny because they do not like Patricia in Detroit. It's kind of comical. Liking the trade for Williams is irrelevant. Plus, if Pascal was a reach for them, I guess John Dorsey and Brad Williams. I didn't like I didn't like the Pascal pick, and we're gonna find out how good these two can do together. I don't really use Discord. I was talking about this on last night. I'm thinking about doing TikTok. I really haven't used Discord. I really haven't. I set one up thanks to Luke G. I haven't really used it. I need to. I need to use Discord more to engage with more people. I maybe should make some TikTok videos. That was something that Keys and those guys kind of recommended. I have one. I don't use it. I'll try to get more involved in it. It's kind of on the. If I do start using Discord, it'll be closer to the beginning of the season. August is kind of hectic. I'm going to do a bunch of videos. I got a couple trips planned. I need to use it more. Right now, I'm just using Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and interacting through YouTube. I need to use Discord and maybe TikTok. Oh, Tom tried to do stand-up too, but yeah, he's entertaining. He's entertaining, but there's 0% chance that 0% chance he knows more about football than I do. Denver, honestly, I wouldn't care either way. I'm not one of those guys that's completely salty about him. Quinn, on the other hand, Funk has no bigger reach than Devy. Funk, your boy Lance has been struggling. Nah, it isn't fair at all. You're sounding like Gooch between three of us. We usually don't have the same opinions. I'm always willing and hoping to hoping people address my questions and change my mind. It's funny because I actually say the same thing, but I'll be honest. Being on your show yesterday, I didn't feel that way at all. I literally felt that if I said 100 was a bigger number than 5. You guys would all agree that 5 is a bigger number than 100. And I'm going to admit that I didn't feel like there was any flexibility from you guys. If I'm being honest, I really didn't. So like, I'm really kind of glad we didn't talk about Orlando Brown, because I felt like I could have said anything and I wouldn't, my opinion would not have been taken serious. So. I mean, I got it. That sounded really insulting, and it did not mean to be. So that's probably because, yeah. For those of you who don't know, Gooch travels and he has to use his phone, so it's kind of like he kind of bounces in and out. By the way, Gooch is awesome. When he was on my show, after the show, he had one of the greatest all-time best stories. I love the guy, but it's kind of hard to do a show with him because it's in and out, and like it's like and Gooch, and like he'll be gone for like 30 minutes. So Dan just uses his TikTok for Katy Perry karaoke and snort. I honestly really regret bringing up going to a Katy Perry concert. But, I really liked Katy Perry. I was a big Katy Perry fan, and the concert was great. It was just very uncomfortable being around so many young girls, and I like 14 and under. It was very uncomfortable. I am so glad I was with 2 women. It was really weird. Like I went to go get a beer and I was like, one of you is coming with me. I am not walking around by myself. So it was very uncomfortable. So yeah, Keith did suggest I did TikTok. So Pride, I always said Lance had to sit. It's fine. It's funny because hold on here. It's actually funny because I follow some social media links, and I'm seeing just the opposite. People are raving about them, but I think this is going to be a tough spot. People that think that San Francisco is, they got their quarterback. I'm like, when I watched him play last year, he looked so confused. He looked like a 5-year-old in a calculus class. Like he looked so confused. I think that this is, if you're a Niners fan and you're like, oh man, we got our quarterback, we're going to the Super Bowl. I'm slow down, because and I've been seeing a lot of links saying that he's doing good. I think that this is going to be some growing pains. I really think there's going to be some growing pains with Lance. Yeah, Gooch is half the time. Yes, it did. God, I am so sorry, man. I feel like a dick now because it sounded really insulting and it wasn't meant to be at all. It wasn't meant to be at all. It came across. I wish I could use different words, um, God, I hope I don't get banned because I do want to come back. I really want to come back. It was a great. By the way, if you haven't already, check out BTB. I don't have a link in this description, but check out the Backtalk Brothers. It's a great show. I want to tell you something. Even if you don't like football, their introduction song is amazing. I actually went to SoundCloud and checked a lot of artists out. He has some neat stuff. I wonder if I can use some of that stuff. It makes me want to change up my own introduction and have a new intro for mine because I really feel like I need to step up my intro game. Even if you don't like football, just check out the intro because it is amazing. And it was a great show. It was a great show. We did for those of you who didn't check it out, it was a head coach quarterback combo. ESPN, CBS Sports, a lot of other major networks did the like a top 10 list. We did a bracket, which I thought was really awesome. Really, really awesome. Dan's going to do a TikTok dance video to Jesus. Oh God. Maybe they should have drafted Jones. Seriously, that was, if you remember, this is actually a great point. Going into the draft, and like it was leaked that they really were going to take Mac Jones, and they went to Trey Lance, kind of a curveball. I'm not really sure what Shanahan wants to do. There's a lot of talk that they want to use his running ability. They want to use like direct runs. They kind of want to do like some zone read, college type stuff. And what's funny is because Shanahan had his most success when he was with Atlanta, and Matt Ryan doesn't do any of those things. I was kind of surprised because if you looked at what he did in Atlanta with Matt Ryan, Mac Jones seemed like the best fit, but I'm hearing that they really want to use the mobility of Trey Lance. So I'm kind of curious what they're planning on doing offensively. So it'll be interesting. As of today, as of right now, I think yes, they should have, but I'm really kind of curious because like if you look at what he did with Atlanta when he had his most success, that the guy's Mac Jones. And I think that after this year, Mac Jones is going to be head and shoulders above Lance, but I got you. I know it was honest and constructed. I have to agree with you. Otherwise, you'll burn me for disagreeing. I'm going to rewatch it and add all the chapters in this week so I can pick up with you what you're talking about because I can remember a few times where I agreed with you. You did. There was a few times. The main thing that I still cannot understand is the combo of Trey Lance and Shanahan being higher than Kyler Murray and Kingsbury. That that to me still makes zero sense. But in this show and in your show, you can disagree. I'll never forget, or I wish I could take credit for it, but Funk said this. He goes, "Isn't it great that two men can disagree about sports without resorting to name calling? Because go on social media, if you put in a comment, I like player X, you're an idiot. Player Y is better." And it's that all the time. And being able to disagree with people is something really great about about football, and I never want this show to be a show where I'm always right, and if you disagree with me, blah blah blah. And I know that on the show, your show, you wanted discussion and back and forth. So I do not have a high opinion on Trey Lance. He looks good in practice. I've not seen the game. He infects my. I don't. I'll be honest. I'm really. I think that what they're trying to do is they're trying to build more of a college type of offense where they want to have zone reads, direct runs, and then because Lance does have some arm strength, they want to go ahead and use the deep ball ability. So I think that what they're trying to do is build a heavy run team with some deep passes, and which Jimmy Garoppolo cannot throw the ball deep. It's definitely a weakness. But I mean, as of right now, and I think after the 2023 season, we're all going to probably say the same thing, that Mac Jones should have been the player chosen, but we'll have to see. I'm not like when I watched him this year, he looked so confused. Like sometimes you get a small school player, and even though they have the body of an NFL player, they don't have the mental ability. I mean, that's not the right word. Okay, a matter of fact, if you ever watched the Brady Six, they talk about the 6 quarterbacks chosen before Tom Brady. The 49ers drafted somebody, I think, out of Hofstra, and he had all the ability of an NFL quarterback. But they interviewed Steve Mariucci, and they said, yeah, he looked great in practice. He looked great in training camp. Like when we worked him out, everything looked great. You put him in a game, you turn on the lights, and it's a completely different guy. And I've played high school football in front of a couple hundred people max, I think. How would I respond to television cameras, 80,000 people, floodlights? I don't know. I mean, it was kind of funny. A buddy of mine joined the high school football team, and he was terrible. And he got put in a game, and they handed in the ball, and he just stood. He literally just froze. And he told me, he goes, "Yeah, I get nervous." And I didn't have enough heart to tell him, dude, you're not cut out to play high school football. And I probably should have. He quit, and anyway, he finally quit. But he just wasn't right. By the way, he was terrible at practice too. That's another thing. Yeah, okay. I could be wrong. I could be wrong. Shanahan was the only guy who could fuse a quarterback. What they're trying to do. By the way, the thing about the Shanahan offense is it's actually really, really simple. It's just they put a lot of window dressing in to make plays look more complex and to confuse defenses. But by NFL standards, it's a really simple offense. They just do a lot of different things. It's supposed to be a very quarterback-friendly offense, but when Trey Lance got in the game next year, or when he got in the game last year, he looked so confused. He looked like he had no idea what to do. So, how's the OnlyFans stand? Is the Denver Barrel treating you right to charge nipple tape, chargers to rating thong? It must be a thriving market. It's doing very well. It's $29.99 for the monthly membership, $99.99 for the premiere. You definitely want the premiere. Anyway, I don't think we have to all agree with each other. I love other people having different perspectives. We all have things we value more than others. Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's the reason why I want you to come back on the show. And I'm kind of hoping that when we talk Chiefs Chargers, again, I'm toying around. I don't have a lock on coming back Wednesdays for the NFL season. I'm toying around with that. I mean, between now and the start of the season, but if I do have a Wednesday show, I really want you guys to be on for the Chiefs and Chargers, and hopefully you can come back on a Friday and on a Wednesday. So, yeah. Our chat was the tiebreaker for that match. Yes, it was. Yes, it was. But I still don't get how I was not able to convince you. So that's bad on my part. Trust me, this show will never be about you being right all the time. But this chat may not agree, but always respectful. Wouldn't have any other way. This is respectful. Yeah, when Dan and I disagree, I just talk about how he loves to serenade Big Bertha with Katy Perry's. I regret saying anything about Katy Perry, but how did I get to be banging fatties? All right, how did I get to be about banging fatties? So. Yeah, I have no basis to have a good opinion on Lance. I get the hesitancy on Shanny and admit my bias towards Jittery Jimmy, but I think that when the 49ers aren't injured, they win. You're actually not alone on that. A lot of people feel that way, and I haven't broke down the 49ers yet. But I mean, that's going to be one of my last breakdowns, being in the NFC Championship game. But you definitely have an opinion that a lot of other people have. So I'm excited for Monday. Teams put on the pads. I can finally see what the O-line, D-line will be running, and running game will truly be. That's actually something I really want to see for the Texans. You'd have to tell me, is Marlon Mack just slated to be the starter? Are they going to use like kind of a rotational system? The biggest thing I didn't like about the Houston Texans is that in the Tampa 2 system, you got to have a stud. You have to have a monster. Excuse me. Got to have a monster on the defensive line. You got to have somebody who you can double team. The Texans don't currently have that. They have some good pieces. I mean, some really good pieces. They got a couple cast-offs from Buffalo that I think are going to have some really, really good games. Maybe not good seasons because both of them are 35, but they're excellent fits to this team. But they don't have anybody on that defensive line. I'm like, okay, I have to double team this guy. I got to double team this guy. So, but yeah, I know you don't have a high opinion of him, Dan, but I love Roy Lopez. He has become a top defensive ranking for rookies, able to put pressure on quarterback. He can become a stud. Oh, no. I love Lopez. Great hair. I love Lopez. He's not a guy that you go into an offensive meeting and say, okay, we got double team Lopez. Actually, I had a bigger crush on Ross Blacklock. I love this guy, and he hasn't panned out yet, but like Blacklock and Lopez are good guys. You need a stud. I mean, you need a guy that like Hall of Fame potential. Like the Tampa 2 defense is predicated on 4 beating 5. So you have to have a guy that you 100% need to double team. They don't have that guy on that defensive line. They have some good, not great players on that defense. So an opinion that a lot of other people have sounds like an insult. That's interesting. That's interesting. So I know you don't know. Okay, I read that one. I'm not a non-conformance because they just conform to non-conformity, but I also don't believe that popular opinion is also correct. I agree with that completely. I agree that popular opinion is not always correct. So this came up yesterday, and I didn't have a chance to address it. I haven't done Tampa Bay yet. Okay. And I haven't been following Tampa Bay, so I don't know how much the lines changed from before the injury to after an injury. And then, because we're in late July, how are they going to address the injury? All right. Are they going to trade for somebody? Is it going to be an additional free agent signing? Are they going to move some things around? I don't have an answer for that. But to be perfectly honest with you, probably not at all. The general betting public usually doesn't. I'm using hypotheticals here. More than likely, the over/under for yearly win totals for Tampa Bay is either 11.5 or 12. It might be 12.5. Let's just say 12. This injury, because an offensive line injury, even though Jensen's one of the best offensive linemen in football, it doesn't affect a betting line because the betting line's affected by the public. All right. I put a lot of emphasis on an offensive line. That's something I watch quite a bit. And the reason why is that I'm looking for insights on betting. So I put a lot of emphasis on the offensive line. I consider this a big deal. The overall general betting public would look at a Mike Evans injury and okay, like Mike Evans gets injured, that's going to affect the betting line. An offensive lineman injury usually, not always, doesn't affect the betting line. For me personally, it doesn't really have that much an effect, but I don't know what the number is yet. I haven't looked. I don't know if it's 11 and a half, 12 and a half. Would it affect? Probably not. At Tampa Bay, Tampa Bay's still my favorite to win the NFC, even with the injury. But I don't like betting on first-time head coaches. Now, Bowles coached in New York. He was defensive coordinator. And would that affect it? Tampa Bay's, unless the number's extremely appealing, Tampa Bay's a team that I'm kind of pretty sure I'm not going to put action on. First-time head coach, even though he's been a head coach before. First-time coach in Tampa. I don't like doing that. Brady's age, the offensive line injury really affects me personally. Does it affect the gambling line? No. Does it affect me? It actually does because, okay, I feel like I said two different things here. Okay. The number won't change. My opinions are the same, and that I'm taking the line off. Would it make me bet the under? If the line ends up like 12 and a half or 13, and I don't feel like they really address that issue, then I might do the under. And I say might because I don't want to go against Brady's last year, the defense. A lot of hype has been on Fournette's weight gain, but I don't think that's a huge issue. I think he'll be fine. I actually think he'll have a really big year if he doesn't get injured. And that's always a question with Fournette. If Fournette plays 16 games, he'll probably have a great season. So, Texans are working out USFL Houston Gamblers defensive end Chris Odom. He was the Gamblers' best defensive player on a strong defensive team. What the Houston Texans are doing, and I really like it, is that they're adding a lot of pieces to that defensive line. Jerry Hughes and Mario Addison, phenomenal additions. And if they had like a first round pick, I would be really, really excited because I want Jerry Hughes and Mario Addison, working with these young players. And so what they're doing is they're adding a bunch of pieces. This is a really, really good thing. But the weakness that they have is that they don't have that one guy on this defense that you're like, okay, I gotta double team this guy. Like they don't have that one guy. Like we have to double team him, and then we can go one-on-one with the other three. They really got four. Whoever the starting four is out there, they got the offensive line can say, okay, we're gonna do our offensive line scheme. We don't have to focus on this one guy. In the Tampa 2 defense, you need that guy, that difference maker, that game changer, your Warren Sapp, if you will. So you want to go back 70s, you can go Mean Joe Green. But in order for the Tampa 2 defense to get you to that level, you need that game changer. What the Texans are doing is different. They're just having a bunch of pieces. And you're going to see that, by the way, the Houston Texans. If you ever watch Houston Texans play, you're going to see that. Like you'll see a front four one series, and then you may see just two of those guys return from the next series. You're going to see a lot of player rotations. And this will be an interesting training camp battle because I don't know how many defensive linemen the Houston Texans are planning on keeping. There'll probably be more than a standard NFL team. So I don't know if I'd say any O-line for Tampa Bay as if they're all equal, but the way Brady is when you get quick interior pressure, I think this could be huge. You brought that up, and I think you had a great point, and it is a great point. How does it affect betting lines and the general betting public? It won't. It really won't. However, would it affect me? Would it affect you? Absolutely. Absolutely. And this would be kind of a red flag by the way, if you're watching this and you do sports betting, Jimmy, and you're thinking about putting action over for Tampa Bay, I would look at this injury and say, slow down. What number are you getting? Are you sure? And like if you're talking in terms of betting, it doesn't have an effect. But it should. And if you're watching this show and you're getting by the way, Keys, what you're giving is A+ gambling knowledge, because this is knowledge that the standard betting general public overlooks completely, but it's huge and it would affect Tampa Bay big time, especially if they don't really address it. So this is A+ advanced level gambling knowledge. So, but even before the Jensen injury, Tampa Bay was probably a team that I was kind of just like, I'm not going to bet on them. Here's another thing. People are probably looking at the Julio Jones signing might uptick people betting for Tampa Bay. And for me, when I saw it, I don't care. To me, the Julio Jones signing has zero effect on Tampa Bay, because I know he's going to miss several games. He's not the same player, but because he's a future Hall of Famer, people are looking at that and like, oh, Tampa Bay, they just got better. That's the majority of public. I wouldn't think. I seriously, a lot of you guys might think, oh, Julio Jones really adds something. I looked at it and was like, I don't care, because I really don't think it does. I think that I have a very minority opinion here, but no, that what you're providing here is A+ advanced level betting knowledge, and it is huge, and most people don't see that, and that's why I'm glad you're on the show. Hot take: Michigan State beats University of Maryland again. I know. By the way, for those of you that don't know, Michigan State has beaten Michigan 2 years in a row. And if I'm correct, the game, you have to tell me because I'm drawing a blank. The game this year is actually in Michigan, right? You won at home, right? I don't know. I'm telling you this right now, like that's going to be a fun game. Like that's probably going to be a game at DVR, and it might be a game I put action on, even though I don't like betting on college football. It's going to be an interesting game, and the reason why it's going to be an interesting game is that Michigan's probably going to be a heavy favorite, and I think it's going to be close. So I'm not 100% sure that you're going to be right, but I might put some action on Michigan State, especially if it's like 11, 12 point line. So One Pride, don't think that's a hot take. Michigan will take a step back after overachieving last year. You're right. But you know what? I don't have anything available in Michigan or Michigan State, but they're going to play mid-season, right? So Michigan's probably going to be a top 10 team. Michigan State's going to be a top 20 team, and everybody's going to bring up that Michigan lost the last 2 years, and this is a revenge game, and all this stuff. And the line could go really, really high. It could be as high as 12, even though it should be probably 5 or less, depending on what they're playing. In college football, it's not 3 points. It can be anywhere from. So I'm not exaggerating. It could be anywhere from a half point to 5, depending on who. So at the games like in Ann Arbor, which I don't know, then Michigan could be like a double-digit favorite. If that's the case, I definitely would put some money on Michigan State because I think it's going to be a close game, and it wouldn't surprise me if Michigan State wins. I probably would, off the top of my head, I'd say Michigan, but you never know. A lot of people say we're going to decline without Walker, but our defense got better, and we got back And we got back. Oh, okay. You have some young talent on that team. Yeah, I don't know who he is. You have to tell me. I know you got a freshman receiver from Georgia, a 4-star player who's going to be in the NFL. You got some really, really good players. Michigan has a lot of NFL talent. They've been traditionally the last several years, beating, just loading the NFL with talent. It hasn't always shown up on field. Last year it did. Are they going to be one of the 5 best teams in the country? Probably not. But it wouldn't surprise me if they're ranked in the top 10 early on. And when these two play, they're going to be ranked higher than Michigan State. And if it's in Ann Arbor, probably like a 4 or 5 point advantage, just home field. So let's say you think that they're a 6-point favorite. Seriously, this is probably going to be a double-digit line. I think it's going to be a single-digit game. So Lovey said Houston will have starting 5 for the D-line, but rotate between 3 groups for different situations. Smith's defense is strongly based on adapting speed usage. Yeah, and that's what I expect. That what they're going to do is that they're going to use a lot of different formations. They're going to use a lot of different players. It's going to be really, really interesting to see what they do defensively. Again, I really, really wish that they would have got just a guy that we need to double team. Kayvon Thibodeau. So that's the only thing. But yeah, it's going to be very interesting what they do defensively. And because of these things, this is why I really love over 4.5. While our defense is a lot better, Michigan's defense got worse. All right. Michigan State beats them again in Ann Arbor. All right. That's why I like Stingley over Sauce. Stingley can go from man to zone very easily, or unlike Sauce, who sticks to one. I don't agree with that at all. I think Sauce can do man and zone. They used both defenses at Cincinnati. I'd argue that both can play man, both can play zone. The one thing I like about Sauce over Stingley is Sauce has a lot more length. Now, Stingley, the one thing about Stingley's a legitimate 200, 205, where Sauce is like 6'3", 190. Sauce will need to put on the NFL 20. And when I call it the NFL 20, he doesn't need to put on 20 pounds, but he needs to get in an NFL weight room. Stingley, on the other hand, is a guy, boom, day one, press corner. I can handle the physicality. Sauce is somebody, I think the physicality of the NFL is going to bother him, but his athleticism is going to cause him to make some plays. I liked Sauce more than I liked Stingley. Another thing about Stingley is that he's been banged up the last couple of years. When you get a player who's banged up in college, why do people think he's going to come to the NFL and not get banged up? That, to me, is the bigger issue, where Sauce started as like a 150-pound true freshman, never had any problem staying healthy. Stingley had problems staying healthy, but he gets the NFL, he's not. So Texans going to pull the Bengals. Golly cap. All right. All right, guys, I think I'm going to use this as good of a time as any to wrap it up. Thank you so much for joining the show. I thank everybody. By the way, I didn't put it in the description, but Back Talk Brothers, check them out. Keys was nice enough to let me come on the show. He's been on the show. He will be back on again. Hopefully he didn't find me. Hopefully he didn't find my comment. I feel bad. I feel like I insulted him, and I didn't mean to. So Keys, if you're still watching, I did not insult you. Please let me come back on your show. And then you're always welcome on this show as well. So again, next week I will have Washington, Minnesota, Cleveland, Baltimore, and Miami. So check out all the videos. I try to release them noon Central Standard Time. Very rare, but very rare it doesn't. But I plan on having them all released at noon Central Standard Time. So depending on where you are in the country, do check out the videos. Hey, before you leave, give me a thumbs up. Drop a comment below. Drop a comment in the algorithm. So Stingley start that. Oh no, he's going to be a day one starter. He's going to be a day one starter, but he had some injury issues in college, and that to me is kind of a red flag. When I'm drafting a player, especially top 5, and I got 2 guys and they're about equal, I had Sauce over Stingley. But when you have them equal, the injury issues are usually the tiebreaker. And Stingley had problems staying healthy in college. Sauce Gardner didn't. So, but Stingley is bigger, more physical, and that's very important into the Tampa 2 defense. So, but I mean, if he stays healthy, I think he's going to be a good corner. I really do. I think he's going to be good. And by the way, he'll have a good year one. I mean, he'll be if he plays all 17 games, he's going to have a good season as a rookie. Sauce Gardner may struggle a little bit because he does need to put on the NFL 20. But man, I seriously, Sauce Gardner 5 years from now may be the best corner in football. I don't think we're going to say that about Stingley. I could be wrong. Denver Gator says, come back, leave that. Yeah, man. Thank you so much, Denver Gator. With that, I am out of here, guys. Thank you so much for joining me. Don't forget, join back next Friday. Check out all my videos Monday through Friday. I release them at noon. I'll see you next Friday.